isn't this a beautiful room? Isn't this fantastic to be here? This is where already a new set of traditions are being created. For many of you, this will be the first time you have been here. For the last 6 months, we've been discovering this building, and the building has been changing us. And during the periods of crisis that we've been through, it's been in this room that we have gathered to talk to each other. And so it's appropriate today that this community gathers to talk together and learn from each other. And I have really one word to talk to you about, which is the word community and what community means. About an hour and a half ago, up on the roof, a very generous man who has just endowed the Kharkiv space on the roof. And it's named after Kharkiv because it's the place of his birth. He didn't name it after himself, he named it after his birthplace, which is a vision of philanthropy that seems to me pretty fantastic. But he said something that he probably doesn't even remember. This is Konstantin Kurganov, who's over there, and he's a shy guy, but there he is. He said in passing that he wanted to create something for the school that our children and grandchildren would enjoy. And I suddenly began to see our community in a different way. We've been here for 25 years, and when you have the honor to run a place like this, you're trying to get through to 5 o'clock in one piece. Your time frame is short. Do you know what I mean? You probably have that in your own work. Your time frame is short. Just trying to get through the day, get through the week. And then occasionally you have moments like this tonight when you begin to see the time frame of a community begin to expand. There's a small child up there, right? There's a little girl up there. Think about the community through her eyes. Think about the idea that what we're trying to do here is to ensure that CEU will be here for her and for her children. Think about that. Think about that vision of time. Many of us are mothers and fathers, and suddenly when you have children, your time frame begins to move out. You begin to think in much longer term. And this university needs to think in those terms. We've been here for 25 years, and we need to act as a community now to ensure that this place will be here for your children and grandchildren and their children and their grandchildren. Great institutions, and I've been in some, and this is a great institution. Great institutions have a big vision of time. They have a big vision of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to hand on to the next generation and the generation that comes after. And that's the context in which I want to talk to you about the crisis, the little local difficulty that we've been having. Little local difficulty is a wonderful piece of British understatement, and I love it, you know, and that's what it is. It's a little local difficulty, and seen in the big time frame, it's going to pass, folks. It's going to pass. We're going to get to the other side of this thing. And remember, it is just an episode in a long and glorious history of an institution. But let me tell you a little bit about that. But the first thing to say about a community is that we are, first of all, the community of people who are here right now. And there's some students in the room, and they've got the little yellow badges. Can the students stand up or something, or wave, or show where they are? Where are the students? There they are.
You stand up. Just stand. Yeah.
Stand. Let's have some applause. There they go. So they are the present of the community. You are the recent past of the community, but you're also You know, you liked the word recent, didn't you? I could tell you like that bit. It was just yesterday, yeah. But you're also simultaneously the future of the community because you will be sending people here. We hope your children and grandchildren will come here. And when you think of a community in that way, we are united in a chain of time that goes back to the founding of the university and goes forward into the future. And that's what we're trying to safeguard as a community. This unbroken chain of commitment to an ideal. And the ideal is a university that trains people to live in a free society. And God knows it's difficult to live in a free society. It's difficult to live with conflict. It's difficult to live with difference. It's difficult to be in Karapeshi dorm with people who don't agree with you, right? It's difficult to live with people who have a different religious faith or a different view of the world or a different politics. We have 120 countries represented in this community, and every day we get up and try and find a way in which we can be in a room together and be honest about our differences, not suppress our differences, allow those differences to be expressed and heard with respect. I said yesterday to incoming students, the thing about CEU when you come in here is there's no we in the room. There's no we in the room. We have to make the we out of all the different eyes, all the different individuals who come here. And slowly over a year and over 2 years, we create that sense of being a we the CEU community. And that's at the heart of what this university has always stood for. It's why we're so distinctive, trying to create a common commitment to freedom out of the enormous differences that are represented in this room. And we've been astonishingly successful. And why do we know we're astonishingly successful? Because when this institution was subjected to premeditated, calculated political attack on the 28th of March, the Prime Minister of Hungary discovered just how strong this community is, just how devoted and passionately committed it is to its own freedom as an institution. And all of you, every one of you, responded in some way. You phoned a friend, you wrote a letter, you animated a Facebook group, and the whole world, I don't exaggerate, the whole world has turned out to be astonished at the strength of this community. And it's something to be proud of. Professors who work here every day, and many of them are in the room, let's get the professors to stand up, the faculty to stand up. These are people who, when the crisis happened, began to activate their scholarly networks around the world. Within 24 or 48 hours, every university in the world was being contacted by our faculty and being told we were under attack. And a university that sometimes forgot how important it was to other people discovered the passionate connection and commitment that we had established with scholars around the world. Students did that to other student groups. Faculty did it to faculty. Alumni did it to other groups that they knew. And suddenly this community that is 14,000 alumni, couple of hundred faculty, 1,800 students, discovered that our community was in fact much, much wider than that. You know, we've had 660 letters from universities and professional associations around the world. We've had 24 Nobel laureates writing in our support. We've had declarations of support from Washington, from Berlin, from Brussels, from Canada, that little country that I come from. And the point I'm making is that we have discovered through 9 weeks of trial the enormous strength of this community, the capacity of this community to to rally and create support around the world. And your alma mater has become a global symbol of academic freedom wherever people value freedom of institutions. And that's an extraordinary thing in which, let's not get too big-headed about it, but it's something in which we can take, I think, enormous, quiet, CEU-style pride. Now, the way ahead is complicated. Many of you follow our communications daily, so I'm not going to fill you in on the moment-by-moment ebb and flow of the situation. But on Wednesday of this week, we will begin discussions with the government for the first time in 9 weeks. We believe that this, we hope, will lead to negotiations. We're in a funny situation that the discussions that we're going to have on Wednesday should have happened about 3 months ago. But heck, I'm not fancy. We get in the room with these guys, it's okay with me. The position of this university is very clear. We want to stay in Budapest. This place is our home. We have done nothing wrong. We have earned the right to be here. We have contributed a massive amount to the academic life of Hungary. We are deeply proud of the relations and connections we have with other Hungarian institutions. Of all the support we've received, I've said this many times, but let me say it again, particularly for the Hungarian patriots in the room, of all the support we've received, the support that has meant most to me and to everybody has been the support of Hungarian academic institutions, the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, and the people of Budapest. And this is an extraordinary transformation of our identity. There were times when CEU thought we just happened to be in Budapest. Somehow over the last 9-10 weeks, we've discovered we belong here. This is our home, and nobody is going to push us out. We have to understand that. We are not asking for special privileges. You'll hear the word privileges. These are a bunch of spoiled brats claiming special privileges. We don't have any privileges, folks. We have earned the right to award certain degrees by a process of accreditation with some of the most demanding accreditation agencies in the world. That is why we can accredit degrees, masters and PhDs accredited in the United States. That's not a privilege, that's a right you earn by being an excellent institution. It's important that you say that. This is not a privilege, this is a right, hard earned by academic excellence. Okay? So that's where we are. We are fighting for a very simple principle, one of the oldest principles that goes with democracy itself, the right of an institution to govern itself freely. I get back to the original meaning of a community. A community is a freely governing community of citizens who choose their destiny, who shape what they teach, who shape what they learn, who shape how they relate to the society around them, and accept as a community a deep obligation to serve the community they're part of. And so that's what I think in the crucible of this particular struggle, we have learned about ourselves. We've learned about our strength as a community. We've learned how many friends we have. I think we've deepened our commitment to a sense of ourselves as coming from a past, going into a future, and committed all of us together to create an institution for our children and grandchildren. I'm sorry to be so solemn about all this, but there are moments in the life of an institution when we have to seize the moment, understand what we've been going through, renew our strength together through common understanding of an experience, and use that experience to go forward into the future together. And looking at you, I absolutely know we will. Of all the sites I have seen in the last 9 weeks of some pretty difficult battles, this site here is the most inspiring. Thank you.